Hello again, people of Earth. It's time for another online battle. This one's a 1v1. It's a large battle as well with some big funds. You can see our armies. My opponent brought all the best units. Like, he didn't compromise on anything. So he's got less units than I do. Only by 5, but he does have a lot of artillery. So I've got the numbers advantage. I bought loads of Chaos Marauders, who are my cheapest infantry unit. They're only like 400. But a real quantity versus quality deal going on here. So let's start. Let's pause up first of all. I'll go through my army, because it's a big one. It's a damn big one. It spans far and wide. So my main line, my front line, my centre is made up of Chaos Marauders. These are the cheapest unit I was just talking about. They only cost 400. But on the far left side of my centre, I've put 2 units of Chosen with great weapons. These are the best unit I can get. And I did that purposely because I want to try and overload his right flank. On my left wing, I've got some Halberdiers, some Marauders, because they're like my only ranged unit. 2 units of Chariots, both kinds, the Chaos and the Gore-Beast. The Gore-Beast look pretty freaking cool, like massive gorillas. Some Chaos Knights and some Warhounds. These Warhounds are going to be used to deal with the skirmishers. I'm going to try to disrupt them with those. All this stuff in the centre is pretty much just reinforcements, reserves. So if my front line start to fall, I've got some Forsaken there. I've got some Trolls to help them. Some Halberdiers, just in case those Demigryphs try to charge up in the middle, because there's always going to be Demigryphs when you play the Empire. And then over on the right wing, more Halberdiers. Some more Chaos Warhounds to deal with the handgunners, and some more Chaos Knights with lances. So that's my army. I've got a couple of Hell Cannons as well out front. I put them way out front so they could at least be in range straight away. My opponent has a cheeky unit of Grenade Outriders sat out front, trying to steal a few sneaky kills, I think. His main force is made up of handgunners all across the front, followed by greatswords and artillery in the back. So that's his centre pretty much. He's got some other things in here though. Steam Tank, Karl Franz, Halberdiers on the wing. His whole main line is just these great swords really, so they're not going to be easy. More Halberdiers kind of on the wing, and then his left wing really is just Reiksguard, a good strong unit. He's got 4 units of those, so they're going to be pretty tough. An Empire Captain in there as well. So that's pretty much his army, but he did have these cheeky Demigryphs hidden around the back. I didn't actually see these until they revealed themselves. They're not hidden, but they're just behind that rock, and I didn't actually see them because I was rushing up. I didn't really get time to search. So he managed to keep them out of the way quite well. It did look like an obvious trap though, because his right wing is literally just 2 Halberdiers, free for me to come in from this side, which seems strange compared to the 4 Reiksguard that are on his left wing. So it's very obvious that he's trying to bait me over to this side, and that the Demigryphs are why. Okay, but I didn't see the Demigryphs at first, but I thought, okay, if you're going to leave your right wing that exposed, I'll buy the bait. I'll go for it. So this actually worked out great for my Chosen that I put over this side, because as I said, I was planning to overload that side anyway. So that's pretty much my plan. Let's get this underway anyway. Enough talk. Time for war. So I tried to rush up as quick as possible. I didn't want to sit around. That's why I put my Doom Cannons out front. I tried to stay out of range of his artillery for the start of the battle, and then just move up as quick as I can. These Outriders, they kind of have a good shot to get some off on my Hell Cannons. It's their grenade one, so they probably do a bit of damage, but I brought my Marauders over as quick as I could. You can see them moving in there, just to try and get a bit of ranged fire on them, because they're the only people who are going to catch them. My Chaos Knights will never catch them. And I didn't want to waste any other units chasing down those grenades, because they'll do a good bit of damage if I let them. But I managed to get them in range, fire a few, he just pulls away. I managed to kill 1 horse, which is a victory in itself. There is a bit of an issue with Trolls, is they run faster than everything else, so they always pull out in front of the rest of your army. It's quite annoying. I don't believe there's a way to make them not do that other than to tell them to walk all the time, but that's just kind of more micro than you need. I nearly get hold of his grenade launchers here though, with the Trolls. They're actually surprisingly fast, even though their speed isn't that fast, but I guess they got quite a big stride. So they move quicker than they look. They can move when they have to. Lots of hellfire coming in, but he makes a grave error here and allows my Trolls to get hold of the grenade launchers. Not literally though, that would be amazing actually, if the Trolls just snatch the grenade launchers off the horsemen and just start blowing the shit out of everything. That would be incredible, I think. They probably kind of saved them though routing there, because it kept them away from the Trolls for a bit longer, but still moving up anyway, pushing up as quick as we can. I do have more speed issues though on the left. Those Chosen are falling behind. You can see they're all the way back here, and the rest of the line is up here. So again, a speed issue. It would be nice if I could make them all move at the same speed, even if it's a slower speed for the faster unit. But there you go. So my Trolls are moving up, getting destroyed. I'm sending in these Warhounds now, because I want them to distract the handgunners. If I can stop as much handgunner fire as I can on my Marauders, because my Marauders only have 15 armor, so they're going to take quite a bit of damage from these. They do have shields though, so they're not completely vulnerable. But I managed to get them into 1 unit, my Warhounds, but he did pull all his handgunners back, so he manages to escape my other 2 Warhound units, and they end up charging into greatswords. They won't do great against those at all, because they're just too well armoured. But on my right wing, I just moved my Chaos Knights up a bit, and then all the Reichsguard came forward, so I pulled them back. Didn't want to get engaged 2 units on 4. My main line is about to arrive at the front though, and the battle will truly begin. I am quite thinned out in some areas of my centre though, because the handgunners have whittled down my marauders due to their lack of armour. So they are struggling. The Chaos Trolls are there as well. My dogs have just retreated. So I'm taking a bit more fire than I needed to, but those Warhounds at least made them run back, which saved us a little bit of time. But on his right wing here, where my mouse is, you can see it's very weak. I'm starting to come around there with a bunch of troops on my chariots and stuff. On the left wing, the cavalry are getting stuck into each other, so the battle is truly underway. But what I did on my left wing, I saw an opportunity here. I charged my knights into these halberds, but I only do it to hold them in place. And this little gap here is the key. So I'm holding them in place. They're not taking any damage from that charge because they have a charge defense bonus. But it allows me the chance to get my chariots through, which is a big thing. This is when the demigriffs reveal themselves, and I'm like, oh shit. When my chariots are through, I get my black knights into the demigriffs. And this is where the damage can be done. When you get something like chariots, which are anti-infantry, behind the enemy lines, oh, destroy. Half the unit is just gone. Just gone. So that was a big victory there to sneak around their left flank. In the centre, oh, I don't have much of a centre to be honest. It's pretty much gone. Let me pause because there's so much going on. So the centre is pretty much broken. On the right flank, we're over here engaged with the cavalry. I did manage to get my halberdiers in to help out these Chaos Knights because they are going to struggle against 2 units of Reichsguard. But those halberdiers, they're going to really even the odds. So I got 1 with each. So that's a good engagement for me. Got my Warhounds, they're just running around trying to do some damage. Probably should be getting them into more handgunners. Got some halberdiers, they're just moving up just to get on the front lines a bit. I don't really have much of a centre, as I said. It's pretty much just a right wing and a left wing at the moment. But thankfully for me, he doesn't have the troops to be able to push out and take advantage of that. So not really a big deal. I'm really overloading this left flank, or his right flank. The demigriffs, I've tied them up with my Chaos Knights. And I can only assume he meant to bring them out sooner. My Chosen have just arrived on my left flank, so they're really going to destroy everything. So his right wing is pretty much done. Gorby's chariots are still going crazy. Let's see how many kills they got. They got 22 kills, 23 kills at the moment. Not a huge amount. They are facing some heavily armoured units though, and one of those chariots isn't really designed to take down heavily armoured units. But it's okay. We're overloading and it's all good. Not sure where they're going. Probably could have got them into a better unit, but they get into some great swords anyway. Still got 2 units of Reichsguard here. I don't know why he isn't. He could bring these around the back and charge me there on both of these accounts. I don't know why he's not. I'm not sure really what he's microing for the moment because everything seems to be still. But there we go. So I'm just trying to completely crush his right wing. Trying to fill up the centre a little bit because there's a massive gaping hole there. And it's pretty much just full of handgunners and artillery. He's managed to tie up 2 of my Chosen though with 1 great sword unit, which is going to buy him a little bit of time in his centre. Franz is in here now though. Franz is getting stuck in, supported by some halberdiers. On the left I managed to get my halberds into the demigriff. That allowed me to pull out my black knights and use them elsewhere. So just making our way across. The engagement on my right wing, his left wing still going on. Trolls are moving up to take out some of those handgunners. He cast a spell, I think that was him. Yeah, because he had a fire wizard. He cast a spell, didn't really go his way. Kind of just went off into nowhere. And this is pretty much all she wrote. We're just finishing everything off now. Bring my marauders up. Do a little bit of damage. Karl Franz. I tried to tie up Karl Franz somewhere around now, just to prevent him from flying off, because we all know once the general goes down, that's pretty much it usually. Start to send over Archaon now, and my Exalted Hero. They're both on the way. They should deal with Franz, no problem. Everything else is pretty much going home. They're still holding strong on this side though. Those Reichsguard will not be beaten, it seems. But I'm bringing some marauders in now, just to completely tie up Franz, because I don't want him running anywhere. If he runs off and flies off. He's got his wizard up there as well, just chilling. Not a lot I can do about that. Steam tank's still going though. That thing's a bastard to bring down. I've got my own, one of my few armor-piercing units into it, the Trolls. They should do a bit of damage to it, but not much. Franz is slowly dying. Oh, he's actually routing. Demigriffs are of course still going, but as are my halberds. He really should have pulled these demigriffs away a long time ago. I think when I had the knights in there, if he pulled the halberds away, he could have flanked around the back of my left side and just destroyed people with charges, but he just kept them in there for some reason. He had a lot of powerful units that he didn't really use that well, like the Reichsguard, those 4 units of Reichsguard. If he charged them up into my marauders, my front line of marauders, they would have got absolutely obliterated because the Right Guard have a huge charge and the Marauders don't have much armor, so they would have done a lot of damage. But instead he just kept them back and just played it safe. He could have just maybe put 2 units into the charge on my front line and then saved the other 2 to engage my Chaos Knights. But there you go. People choose different ways, different things, different plans. Sometimes they come off and sometimes they don't. But I think maybe his army composition was a little bit too expensive. He bought the best of everything. He didn't compromise anywhere. He had all the best ranged units. He had all the best swordsmen. He had all the best spearmen. He had all the best cavalry. Could have brought a couple of units of Empire Knights instead of 4 Right Guard, 2 of each. That would have saved him some money. Could have got him some extra swordsmen, which he so desperately needed. He also brought a hell of a lot of artillery. Artillery is very overrated, I think. It's not that strong. And once you get into melee combat, it's pretty much useless. And he bought 5 units. He bought like what, two or 3 cannons, and then some other kind of cannon, and then a steam tank as well. That's a lot of money purely on long range warfare. And given that I always see the Chaos Warriors as kind of a rush faction. They're designed for rushing. They don't have any ranged units, of course, so they can't sit back and just wait for things. They have to push forward. They have to be aggressive. They have to just try and obliterate everything as fast as possible with a fury of death. And that's pretty much what I did in this battle, because I had the numbers, and his front line, his centre was mainly just greatswords, like 6 units of greatswords. No reserves, no one to back up any weak areas of his front line, so that was probably his downfall. And the thing he tried to do, I think he was trying to do on his right wing, or my left wing, was with those demigryphs, he was planning to ambush me, which would have worked, because I didn't see them until the very last moment. And it was probably a good plan, but just not executed very well. And even that little gap that I snuck my chariots through, he could have moved his halberdiers across there in the first place to close the gap and not even allowed me the chance to get through there, which would have stopped me getting behind him and disrupting him so much. But that's why I chose to attack on that left side, is because I saw that rocky little mountain hill thing where the demigryphs were hidden behind over here. I saw this and I thought he might try and use it to some sort of tactical advantage, thus making that side quite weak troops wise. That's why I put my chosen warriors on that side of the line, because I saw that little hill before the battle started and in the deployment phase. So I took a chance on that being the weaker side, and it in fact was. So it was a good call, a little bit of luck. But to be fair, even just to put some Reichsguard on that side would have made it much easier to defend for him. Demigryphs are great, but they're quite a small unit and not the fastest, so they do have their disadvantages. Anyway, this battle's pretty much over now, and we're going to have a look at some of the kills on the units, because I can't do it at the end because there's too many units. So let's have a look. 85 kills for the Chaos Chariot, that's nice. Exalted Hero got himself a few. Forsaken, they did okay. Chaos Great Weapons, they didn't do too badly. Chosen Great Weapons didn't do great, 40 kills each, not fantastic for the amount I paid for them. Halberds, most of their kills were probably demigryphs, so 20 kills on demigryphs is pretty good. Although the demigryphs don't have that many in their units, but you know. Halberds over here, 42 and 62, that's pretty good, considering most of them were probably Reichsguard. 77 for those Forsaken, nice. 145 for these Chosen Great Weapons, that's what I'm paying them for. Marauders, meh. Who else we got? Hell Cannons, 105 and 75, nice, I'll take that. Also, we got some Trolls, only 30 kills for the Trolls. Bit of a poor performance. They probably spent most of their time running backwards and forwards, routing to be fair. And I think that's everybody, or most of them. Oh, these Chariots, 163 for my Gorby's Chariots. MVP, I think. They did damn well. I think this unit's very underrated. I don't see too many people using it, but against infantry, it will tear them to fucking shreds. Chaos Knights, 37, that's probably Reichsguard. Chaos Knights, 31, again, probably Reichsguard. Mostly. Let's have a look at some of the Empire troop. What do we got back here? Great Swords, they got 56, not too bad. Handgunners, 26. 14 for them. 17. 66 for those Reichsguard. That's probably most of my knights, so that's pretty good. 40 for those. Empire Captain didn't do a lot. He was probably fighting horses most of the time. Halberdiers did well. Halberdiers did really well, actually. His Halberdiers. Or are they mine? No, they're his. They did pretty damn well, by the looks of it. So there we go. A demonstration in flankery, if nothing else. And now normally would be when I'd give an overview of the battle at the end, but I've pretty much just given that for the last couple of minutes, so I'll give you some sweet battle moments at the end anyway, as always. And if you're wondering in this battle, if you heard a lot of things that you don't understand, like me talking about the centre and the left wing and the right flank and all this stuff, and you don't have a clue what that means, don't panic. I'm going to do a guide on this sort of thing, try to make people understand, help people understand, because this is all kind of based on actual tactics in ancient warfare, so I think it's pretty interesting, but I'll do that soon. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you in the future.